Hello, I'm Jorge Briceño, Director of Instructional Television for KLCS TV, and welcome to Reform the LA Way with Los Angeles Unified School District Board President, Mónica Garcia. On today's show, we'll discuss school transformation and how Huntington Park High School went through a reconstitution and restructuring and the success they've experienced since. We'll be joined later in our program by Principal of Huntington Park High, Ms. Lupe Hernandez, and teacher Tammy Suh. But first, a chance to talk with Board President Mónica Garcia about what's happened this month in the LAUSD. Mónica, welcome.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year
to everyone. We've opened our schools, kids are back, graduation is closer. We have to start the year encouraging everyone again to come to school, help our attendance that has been very stable, and we know people are focused on that, working to make sure that kids are coming. We're very concerned with Governor Brown's announcement of the budget, that there is less support for education in California. What that means for LAUSD is that, again, we're facing another $500 million of cuts. And we're very concerned. Yesterday, we heard the superintendent say he does not believe there is anything more we could cut.
Right.
We are always looking for reducing waste, fraud, and abuse and efficiencies, absolutely. But we have cut over $2 billion already. We've let go 11,000 people. We have had school closures, we have had furlough days, cut the school year, we have asked people to change basis, and so what we're looking at is really having to go to the voters, having to look at ways that the state revenue is trying to increase through the initiatives, and locally considering what would it take to get us all in on a revenue strategy here locally.
Navigate us through that a little bit in terms of the situation right now. As you said, the governor announced a proposed budget. Now, let's look at worst case scenario. The taxes do not show up, the money's not there. What is LAUSD looking at?
So it's looking, I mean, broadly, it's looking like 5 weeks of school. It's looking, I mean, we have, so people are trying to decipher what would it mean and how would it go, but we do know that what the governor has said is that the cuts to education would eliminate 3 weeks of school. Locally, our budget deficit would eliminate 2 weeks of school. So together that's over 5 weeks of school. And we know that we're working very hard. We have plenty of evidence that people of Los Angeles want to see strong schools in every neighborhood. We have plenty of evidence that people have embraced doing more with less, doing things differently, not just trying to pare down. So because we know graduation has gone up, we know attendance is up, we know that people are embracing the opportunities to try new and different strategies. And so there's a lot of work that we still have to do as a school district. We are very, very concerned that yet again, in California, where there is a lot of wealth and we are hurting for jobs, we are hurting for social services, schools are taking a sizable hit again. And things have to be different for us on the revenue side. We feel like there's a lot, and this is what our community has been telling us. People want to get behind the service to young people. Kids deserve, they have rights, they deserve a basic quality education. And I think that what I'm hearing from stakeholders across the district is they want a local solution. We just can't have this every year anymore. So I'm pleased that Superintendent Dacey is being very active, and while there's a lot of pain, people hate to see the numbers. What do you mean $600 million less?
Well, he didn't pull any punches yesterday in his in his presentation, and I think it really woke people up. Let me bring this back and put into the context of what the show's about, and that's reform. What does that do? Those budget cuts, the distraction of having to always find more places, more services to cut. What does that do to the reform effort?
Well, I think it brings focus that it's absolutely necessary, and when we show stakeholders, voters, parents, what we're trying to do and show success, people want to get behind that. People are really tired of ineffective government. People are tired of bickering. People are tired of stalemates. People want to see, what are you going to do to fix it? So indeed, we have come to people, to the public, to say there's a crisis in education. We are suffering the worst economic reality potentially of our lifetime, and that is fact. And so we know tremendous unemployment in our communities. We know families are struggling. We know parents are struggling. We know our own employees are really having a tough time. But when you talk about what are the results of this investment and the fact that people are coming together around reform, that this is a different LAUSD. This is not the LAUSD that says we don't want to change and we don't have any problems. We're not picking up charts showing people how we don't have any work to do. We have a lot of work to do. And I think we've been honest and transparent about our work as a district. We've been very consistent in the focus of what we have to do. And although we don't all agree all the time, there is a commitment to embrace reform efforts, to embrace teacher leadership, that we celebrate on this show. And we're going to have a dynamic team coming from Huntington Park.
Absolutely.
And they will again show us another effort where when the district backs up, when we talk about local control, when we talk about what is good for this group of kids, you do have different results. And I think that's what is exciting about people. When we go talk about the need to invest in LAUSD, the need to support the kind of work on the ground, and our commitment to families. Just because the governor took $38 million off of transportation and said California is no longer in the transportation business, that didn't mean LAUSD took the opportunity to tell 35,000 kids, hey, never mind, we can't take you to school.
So let me ask you this briefly. We are at a new calendar year. We're about halfway through the academic year. I just quickly want to get a temperature check from you. How do you feel the year is going as far as reform efforts? What have you liked so far, and where do you hope these next 6 months before the end of this academic year will be as a district?
So I attended a graduation in December. Our AWAC students got together, some 150 of them, and I reminded myself that all year long we're working on graduation. And as I look forward to another season of the class of 2012, I'm really happy that attendance is up in the district. I'm really happy that communication is up, whether you're looking at the website journal or whether you're getting Connect Ed calls or whether you're really coming to your local school to find out what's the progress, what does the report card say, how is your child doing. Communication is up between and among neighborhoods and schools. I think the other piece is that we do have a new teacher contract, and that shows the external world that the internal world is trying to move beyond differences and get to solutions. So I'm looking forward to the good second semester, a lot of challenge. It requires us to be very bold and optimistic and aggressive about what we do because times are so critical right now.
Well, we're going to take a break at this point, but when we come back, we'll have Principal Lupe Hernandez and teacher Ms. Camisa of Huntington Park High School. So please stay tuned.
Tonight we have our 22nd annual Distinguished Educators Award Dinner. The Charter College of Education here at Cal State LA is a college that's committed to preparing caring and outstanding educators, counselors, and leaders in the educational arena who make a difference in the lives of the children in the Los Angeles urban school districts. Its recommendations are made by the faculty or by members of the Friends Committee, and we look at the longevity of the individual, the contributions that they've made, and based upon that information then select the distinguished educators and then invite them to come to the dinner.
It's so exciting to be honored. I don't work for plaudits and I don't work for recognition. I work for children because my whole philosophy is better to build children than repair men and women.
I am thrilled to be part of a community of educators, and this recognition is very special to me, and I will cherish this moment for the rest of my life.
Proud to be in this room with the leaders of my profession. because I look to the nationally board certified teachers in LA. We all look to you as the people who are on the cutting edge of our profession.
And I'm really excited because LA Unified is one of the districts that has the highest numbers of board certified teachers, and we also have high needs students. And the statistics show that most board certified teachers work in non-high needs schools, and our district is the anomaly. So we're the only district, one of the only districts in the nation that has a high percentage of board certified teachers in a high needs area. And the data also shows that children of high needs schools perform the best with board certified teachers.
This entire process was, as difficult as it was extremely rewarding because I got to take an intimate look at my own teaching and scrutinize my own abilities. You know, what did I need to improve in? How could I reach this child? It was absolutely worthwhile, and I definitely encourage all new teachers and teachers who've been teaching, you know, for a long while to join this process and go for it because it's absolutely worthwhile.
Let's just face it, it makes teaching more enjoyable knowing that I'm a better teacher and my students enjoy being in my classes. It makes my job easier.
Welcome back to Reform the LA Way, and as we mentioned at the top of our program, our focus today is school transformation, and in particular the successes and challenges of the recent efforts by Huntington Park High School, which went through reconstitution and restructuring. Joining us now to discuss how they've made this transition are Principal Lupe Hernandez and teacher Ms. Tammy Sa. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, ladies. Share with us a little bit about what is happening at Huntington Park. Just give us, Ms. Hernandez, this is a 6-month labor of love. Talk to us about what's happening on your campus.
Well, you know, as an elementary educator, I was very shocked and honored to be given the opportunity to lead the transformation of Huntington Park. And early on, I realized that the same elements that we need in elementary, we need in high school to pave that road to success. So it's important to hear all voices, to collaborate, and I think that's what we're doing, collaboration of all of our stakeholders, hearing not only the teacher voice, the student voice, the parent voice. It is huge for us to ensure that it's different at Huntington Park, and that's what we've been doing. One thing, and I know Ms. Sa could tell you, is teachers need the opportunity to plan. And I think that is lacking in our district. Most teachers plan on their own, not that she doesn't do that on her own and on the weekends, but to do it in a manner that's cohesive, that you have all of the teachers that are teaching that subject matter to sit down and plan and look at the standards and share best practices and really look at the data. You know, what did you do that gave you those results? And that is one thing that I'm very proud to say that we are doing at Huntington Park. We have a great program that I know Ms. Sa is going to tell you more about, and it's a full inclusion. So really this model, we're the only high school that has implemented this model, but to have special education students in a general ed setting requires planning from the co-teaching method. So it's planning with general ed and special education teachers. And it's a challenge, but we've had a lot of great results. I mean, we have kids that are proud to say that they're doing their best, you know, that they like to see both teachers helping them. And I think that's huge. And you want to say a little bit about that?
Sure. So I guess traditionally, like HP being one of the LAUSD schools, our special ed kids were in self-contained classes, you know, depending on their needs. This year, I guess as part of the transformation, they're in the regular classrooms, and that's huge.
Tell us why that's huge.
I think from the student perspective, it's huge because they don't feel different anymore. And they really, really thrive in an environment where they can feel like a regular kid, where the disability is really minimized and they get every opportunity they feel to be part of, you know, a regular high school kid. It's huge from a teacher's perspective because it requires co-teaching. That's the model that we're trying to implement. And that requires a mind shift. It requires a lot of collaboration, but I think, again, that collaboration is something that our admin team models for us also. So I think as part of the transformation, it's really been about teamwork and collaboration, and how do we include everybody in all parts of this transformation.
And was that teacher initiated or student requested, or how did this idea of the inclusion, the co-teaching, how did that come about?
I really don't know. I don't know if it was teacher initiated. I know that there was a lot of conversation with the parents, ensuring that this is a model that would support students. Students don't like being isolated. Students really resort to behavior, just anything to avoid the focus on the lack of knowledge that they have for the content. So students are not happy that they're in with their general ed peers. And so to have a teacher there supporting them is huge for them. Yeah. And so this is a success that I think we're all proud of. And I know that our parents have a lot of questions, but one of the things that we're also doing is letting parents know that they have the right to come in. And that is something that we clearly told our parents. If you have a question, we don't call the teachers to say, oh, this parent is on their way. Mm-hmm. No, teachers are teaching and students are doing what they're supposed to. And we do have a lot of parents that are coming in and visiting classrooms. So that is great to hear parents say, we're able to go in whenever we want. They have to follow the policy. They have to sit there and watch, write down their questions. They're not interrupting, but they're able to see that it's not a show, that we're not saying it and it's not happening. So this is huge. This is, I think, from the parent perspective, an empowering change for them to know that their students are really getting that education that we're telling them in the meetings. And I think that's another thing that I want to share. Parents are very happy to see that we're available, that we're there, that we're providing meetings with them. Every month I used to have tea with the principal at Huntington Park, is café con leche. So every month I have parents and we're sharing what we're doing. And so it has been a different focus every month. And like I said, I tell them this is what it is, this is what it looks like, and that's a big thing for me. Many people say it and parents don't understand what that is. So I have the famous saying, this is what it looks like. And so for them to come back and say, Ms. Hernandez, I visited that class, and it's exactly what you said. And so we have high expectations for everyone. I know that I have high expectations, and I am not going to ask anyone to do anything that I wouldn't want to model and show for everyone. And I think that in itself is a change. I try to be very transparent, high expectations, accountability, but all the support that is needed for the job. And that's huge.
Yes, I do remember visiting on a rainy day, and I met you as you brought out the mop and you were mopping up the entrance, telling people to watch out so that they don't fall. Leadership is a big part of this transformation, and you're talking about parent leadership, teacher leadership, and you have very vocal student leadership that have come to the board to say, we need more attention at Huntington Park, we need more support. We're unsatisfied with what's being offered to us. Tell us about how have you experienced the students you met in July and the students who are there in now December or January?
One of the things that Ms. and I talked about is we're a team and we do things as a team, and we would have wanted the student here, the parent here, but I can guarantee you that the students are very pleased with the changes. They like the accountability. They wanted this change. And truly, that's what we're about. It's a sense of urgency. It's important to provide that quality education and to really have a culture change. It's about student learning. And everything that happens has to support that. And so the students see the difference. I know they miss the movies. I know they miss that, but that's not acceptable. The last day of class, as the track ended, it was about instruction. And you know, we can have those activities that support a culminating task. I was walking the classrooms the last day, and when I got to one of the buildings, I could hear screaming. I don't know what was going on, but when I got there, the teacher was involving them in a Jeopardy game, and they were shouting the answers, and they were getting points, but it was the perfect culminating task. It was about the instruction, and they were having fun. And these are the kind of activities that we want to see. The time of movies and just wasting time is, our students can't wait. And truly, I want to tell you that this is a family. I want to create what I would want for my own children. I have a granddaughter, I have kids, and I want to lead the school. I want to work with my team in a way that we would want our own students to be there, because that's how I feel. The students at Huntington Park are my students, and I want them to succeed. And truly, I think all of us want to see that change, to see the results of our hard work. And I think that's a challenge. We have been working really hard, and we want to see those results. And I know that, you know, Julian says, Miss, but maybe we're not going to see them this year. One of our student body presidents was a fabulous student who's very responsible. And he said, but there's been many good changes, and we're setting that path, that the expectation here is that we're coming to work. And I know that not all of the students are like him, but for them to start seeing that, oh, we're coming to work, it's not to waste time. There's a time and place for everything.
I'm going to interrupt you for a second, because as you're describing and painting this picture of what Huntington Park looks like today, I'm very curious, well, where was it 6 months ago? What did it look like? And I think that might help us gauge the kind of progress that you've made, because all these changes that you're talking about, they sound great, but some of them sound very commonplace. Like, you know, parents should be able to come into the school and abiding by the guidelines, be able to walk into a classroom. So I'm curious, what was there before, if this is some, you know, a new concept?
You know, I don't know what was there before, but when I hear parents not trusting or questioning something that I think is common practice, I just wanted to lay the foundation. This is the new Huntington Park. And with our new school, we're all working together. We all are being held accountable, because each one of us has a job to do. You know, the parent needs to ensure that their students doing their homework, that they're there on time. The teacher needs to be prepared with their lesson plan. We need to prepare to provide that differentiated professional development that we see is needed. We all have an important role. You know, I talked, I don't know if I mentioned the 4 Ps. As we opened the school, we wanted to create a different environment. So we cleaned, we painted, because we wanted the students to come into a new Huntington Park to see the difference. But we also wanted the instruction to be different as well. So we talked about having students be punctual, prepared, participatory, and productive. But we also know that that is very important for all of us to model that too. As administrators, as teachers, we need to model that. We need to be on time, we need to be prepared, because that's the expectation that we're setting for our students. So when I hear teachers say, wow, it feels different, you know, we're given time, we are given all of the tools that we say we need. That makes me feel that I'm doing the right job.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Ms. what do you see coming to life at the whole Huntington Park? I think however we characterize it, Huntington Park was a place of great need. Huntington Park, your stakeholders, your parents were feeling like we need to have more success than we were having, like we saw in so many of our high schools. So how do you see, and I think today you're absolutely right, you're giving us a flavor of some of those changes, some of that focus, some of that expectation. And we know there's still a struggle to get there. We're not there yet, but we're moving towards something new. How do you think the teacher community there is responding and adjusting?
I think the comments that I've heard is that the leadership at Huntington Park is unlike anything else that the teachers have experienced at other schools. I know they're very appreciative of the fact that I think a lot of our our principal, our assistant principal, they really lead by example. So Ms. Hernandez will be picking up trash after the students.
Or mopping.
And it's not out of the ordinary. And so by that, leadership by example model, I think the teachers pick up on it, and we really do appreciate it. So it's no longer like, okay, teachers do this and admin will do this. It's really a collaborative approach to everything. And I think that's just been a big plus from the teacher's perspective. We also feel really heard. And I think that's something that a lot of teachers need, being in the front line, what we need in the classroom. And then now we have somebody who's willing to hear it and consider it and, implement those changes. So it's been really supportive, yeah.
That's wonderful. What do you see in this coming semester? What is the focus? How are you advancing that work?
One of our challenges is the calendar, the year round. But despite that, we're looking at teachers getting together and planning the semester out, really looking at what goals, looking at the standards, preparing our students, preparing to make sure that they're ready, not just ready for CST and for the AP exam, but really preparing for their next steps, the next grade level, college. What does that really look like? And really we're looking at providing that time. And that's huge. And teachers are appreciative of that, to be able to sit down and map out what it's going to look like to the end of this year. And so that's one of the focuses that we have.
And so how many students do you have on campus today?
Today, right now, we have 2,000, roughly 2,000, two tracks on.
And how many students altogether?
3,000.
3,000. So for those 3,000 kids at Huntington Park, I'm so pleased that you are able to find a way forward, and we're very excited about that. The work that you're doing. Thank you very much, Principal Hernandez. We look forward to more success at Huntington Park. Thank you, Ms. Thank you, Jorge, and thank you. Thank you for joining us. If you want to learn more about reform efforts taking place in the LAUSD, or to contact me, visit lausd.net. As we continue to reform our schools in order to create the best educational opportunities for our students, it requires all of us to do our part. I'm Mónica Garcia. Together we will reform education, achieve 100% graduation, and make the LAUSD the best school district in the nation. Thank you.